Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announcing on national television a solution for the future of thousands of African asylum seekers.
It's a unique agreement with Israel that removes 16,250 people, removes them to developed countries like Canada or Germany or Italy. That's the commitment of the United Nations High Commissioner, to remove them, to organise it, to fund that expense.
Just hours later, no deal. On Facebook and Twitter, he U-turned, caving under pressure from members of his government and the public. He posted that the agreement was suspended because he first needed to hear the concerns of residents in southern Tel Aviv, where many asylum seekers have settled. He wrote, "Dear friends, I am attentive to you as always and foremost to the residents of South Tel Aviv. I am suspending the implementation of the agreement, and after meeting with the residents, I will bring the agreement for reconsideration." Netanyahu issued an ultimatum to 40,000 African migrants last year. Take up my offer of $3,500 and a plane ticket to an unnamed African country or face an indefinite time in jail. In Monday's Facebook post, he wrote that country was Rwanda, but said it had backed out of the deal, so he was negotiating instead with the UN. In his words, it was an agreement that would still allow the removal of the infiltrators. Israel would keep 20,000 of the asylum seekers, the other 20,000 would go to Western nations. This was celebrated by asylum seekers who had feared deportation to an unknown country. Most of them are either from Eritrea or Sudan. In the past, they have told Al Jazeera they would choose jail over returning to Africa.
I can't go to Rwanda because I have small kids. So I want to be in jail. Whether he kill me there, whether I don't want to back to Africa.
Human rights organisations had also fought the mass deportations. Israelis protested what many called an inherently racist policy aimed at preserving the identity of the Jewish state.
We believe that Israel has the obligation to uphold the Refugee Convention that it is a signatory to fully examine the refugee request.
Netanyahu may have an obligation to examine requests from asylum seekers, but ultimately he can decide their future. How much he listens to Tel Aviv's residents and the country's hard right will determine the fate of 40,000 people. Charlotte Bellis, Al Jazeera.